A renowned inspirational lady once said, I only feel angry when I see waste, when I see people throwing away things we could reuse. Mother Teresa. Today we are speaking to another inspirational lady who makes fancy and innovative products for our daily usage out of the waste items. Maria Koryakos, a female entrepreneur from Thrissur, Kerala. She quits her job in 2019 at a social enterprise in Mumbai. She launched homegrown brand named Tanga to manufacture bowls and other products from coconut shells, which were otherwise discarded as a waste. Uh, Welcome to Pull It Pot, Maria. It's our pleasure to have
Thank you very much. No, really, it's my pleasure to. Thanks for the opportunity.
Maria. Let's begin with the very first question. Throw some light on Tanga and how it works.
So basically, who we are as a business is we make all sorts of products, mainly home and kitchen essentials with discarded coconut shells. So we go to oil mills, collect the discarded shells, and with the help of artisans, we transform them into home and kitchen essentials like cups, bowls, spoons, cutlery, candles, planters, and much more. So people have an option to choose a sustainable alternative, and at the end of the life of the product, they can always break it into pieces and mix it with soil. But with other products like steel or glass or wood, you are not really sure how exactly to dispose. But at the end of the life, Tenga products last for several years. At the end of the life, you can easily dispose it off. So it's a durable, sturdy alternative and a long-lasting alternative to other products for home and kitchen.
Wonderful. It sounds really great that you are using such discarded product and making into such a fancy and usable items.
Yeah, thank you.
But Maria, I was wondering how you got the idea of upcycling coconut shells.
So basically, initially, I wanted to have a business of my own, and I wanted to have a startup, and I was looking into what business can I get into. So I had several ideas. I was thinking coconut water or coconut shell or coir, and I was a little obsessed with coconuts because I am from Kerala and we are called the land of coconuts. So I was a little obsessed with that. But what exactly to start in this space, I was not clear. So I did a lot of market testing, with several products. I checked the demand for coconut water, the coir products, and then I also, for a brief while, worked with areca leaf products because that's also sustainable. And while I was working there, working with that product, I had returned back home to Kerala. And every home in Kerala has a few coconut trees and coconuts in the backyard. So I just happened to do something with it because I was into sustainable products, and eco-friendly products is something that I was looking to start my business with. So I started experimenting with it, and with the help of my father, we created a tool that can polish the coconut shells. I polished it and tried using it as a bowl. First, I tried using it as a bowl, then as a planter, and then I showed it to a few people. They really liked the product. So my first thing was to send this product to a few businesses, a few eco-friendly businesses that was already working in this space, to get some feedback. So I sent it to a couple of businesses in India, one in Bangalore and one in Delhi, and then I got a really good feedback on it. And they placed the first order of 100 bowls from me. So that was really the beginning of Tenga. It was because I was back home really wanting to start something. I just happened to experiment with the coconut shell, polishing it, seeing what I could make with it. And, that's how I came to the product. Yes, it is a very sustainable alternative because unlike other products, say even for wood, you have to cut down the tree. But for coconut shell products, it is already a waste that would have otherwise gone to the landfill. which we are able to convert to a product that is in the homes and kitchens of people across India. So, that way we are saving products from going to or waste from going to the landfill. And also, when the life of the product is over, this products last several years. Even at the end of the life, it is discarded in a safe and an eco-friendly manner without impacting the environment.
Maria, you mentioned, and I also read in your profile that you were associated with the corporate world initially, and then you switched to social entrepreneurship. How challenging it was to change your path, or how easy it was?
Frankly, I actually didn't fit in the corporate world very well. And I knew from inside, coming from Kerala and, working in a city and being in a city, somewhere I knew, this is not what I was meant to do. So I think right now the transition was actually a bit more easier because I spent 7-8 years in Mumbai doing my graduation and also working there. But inside I was a person who loved practical things, loved an eco-friendly and natural lifestyle. So somewhere I did feel like I was not at the right place and there's something else that I had to be doing. So I think the transition was actually easier. I think the initial years where I spent in the corporate life was the challenging part. I was not if you see the best performing person there, and I initially thought, oh, maybe I'm not as talented as my peers. The main reason was because I was not at the right place where my skills were aligned with what I was doing. So the transition initially was a bit risky because you're leaving a job and your financial safety to doing something new, which you're not sure is it will be successful or not. But thankfully, because during that phase of the initial trials, I could come back to my parents' place and do this experiment. So people were not sure if the decision was right. But for me, although it was scary, I felt it was the right next step for me.
Glad to hear that your transition was easy, because normally in such scenario, when you change from one field to another, it's not that smooth or easy ride. But I'm glad that you are having a smooth transition. Maria, I have also read that Tanga sells eco-friendly products that are made from raw materials sourced from the backyard and nearby meals. Can you talk a bit about that?
The first few samples I created from the shells in the backyard of my house. So I was very excited to have made a product from the backyard with minimal machinery. As I said, I sent it to a few businesses and I got an order of 100 pieces. So I was at that time very elated to get my first order. But then came the daunting task of finding the shells. Because a few shells were easy because I could collect it from the backyard, but 100 shells, and I can't take each and every shape. It has to come under certain category, a 300 ml or a 500 ml or a 150 ml. So I had to find shells of that certain size. So that was finding 100 of that shape and size was a huge task. So I ran around to different houses collecting shells from the backyard. I ran to people who were dealing in coconut oil because they usually have discarded shells. So, that's how I collected the first 100, and then polishing it in my backyard because the machinery that we had at that time was very minimalistic. Just basic to get that product out, the first sample out. So with those products and with those shells and that machinery, it was, working day in and day out. To create the first set of 100. It was just me and my mother pitching in at times, working continuously to, get that batch ready. So that first 100 was really a challenging task. But after that, now we have tie-ups with oil mills. So, there are certain sizes that we need, certain shapes that we need. So based on our requirements, they already sort it and keep the shells for us, and we buy at a very good rate from them. So the value add the coconut shell has is much higher. Before, only the flesh is used for coconut oil, but right now even the shell, instead of burning it, it is cut in a certain way and it is given to us to create long-lasting products.
Also, I read that there are some artisans you are associated with who are
Yes.
supporting you. Initially, you were the sole runner of the business, but now you
Yes.
have a team.
Yes. So initially, like I said, it was a huge task, the first 100. Then I realized that, say, next day if I receive an order for 500 bowls, how daunting that would be, because 100 in itself was a huge task. So that's when I tried to find artisans who work in this craft, because coconut shell is not a new work, is not new in Kerala. It is a traditional art form. So a lot of people, when they say this is a new and innovative idea, some people try to, say this is a traditional art form. Who said that it's new? It is true. It is a traditional art form. It's just that it's been fading away. A lot of people have not been using those products. You see it in exhibitions. You see it here and there, but it's not really integrated into the daily life of an urban consumer. So traditionally, we used to use it, but right now, with the inflow of plastic, steel, and other products which are cheaper, this has to be, every piece has to be handmade, unlike machine made ones for steel or glass or wood, fading away. So there are these coconut shell artisans who are traditionally involved with this craft. So they know the material very well, how well you can work with it, how it reacts to hot temperature, cold temperature, how can you cut it, what shapes can we use for which product. All these details they know, but currently they do not have enough orders to sustain themselves. So they go for other work like construction work. But when they get a few orders from some resort, some fancy resort who wants to keep a coconut shell artwork or something, they work on it, but that's all. They don't have a lot of work on this. So I try to find those artisans. Initially, I had one artisan who used to create the products. So I went to his workshop, had a discussion with him, told him my requirements, the bowl that I make, what height do I want it at, how should it be polished. Traditionally, sometimes they use chemical varnish because that's long lasting. So I am against it, and I use only coconut oil. Coconut oil, after 20 washes or so, it fades off, and then you have to reapply coconut oil, which will absorb into the shell. So, I train the artisans on these factors, and they create the products for me currently. So slowly, one by one, we start increasing the group of artisans. Now it's a group of 12 artisans who create the products, and they know our products, our style of working, our quality standards, and they create products based on that. Mm. So right now I'm just focusing on promoting the products, branding it. I'm really the connect between the urban consumer and the rural artisan in Kerala. Because rural people don't really have an idea of what sort of products they like or what should they develop. Urban consumers love simplistic design. So I brainstorm with the artisans on what products next to create, how to improve quality standards. So they are really the backbone of thing, and they create the products for us.
That's great. That's really nice to hear that so many things came together and we are getting such a beautiful, sustainable, environmental friendly product. And Arya, we got a good picture about Tenga, why it does, what it does, and how it does. But
Mm-hmm.
now we want to know a bit about you. So there will be a
Okay.
very quick rapid fire round. So are you ready
Okay.
for that?
Okay. Yes, I am.
So the very first question is, what is your favorite upcycle product?
I think my favorite product is from my own brand. It's Tenya Teacup because it's a very beautifully designed product, quite sturdy, and I love having tea in it.
That's nice.
Mhm.
What's your favorite website?
There is this website called earthenware.com where they sell eco-friendly plates, packaging material, and it's a well-designed site. So www.earthenware.com is my favorite site.
Oh, all right. Which is your favorite book?
It's a book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's about how to unleash your creativity or how to not be afraid of bringing out what you love to do in life. So that has been a portion of why I'm motivated to do what I'm doing currently. So that's my favorite book.
Hmm. After talking to you, I am really interested to know more and more about the topic that we have discussed so far, and I might just grab the book which you have mentioned. Maria, we are almost towards the end of the session, but before you leave, tip that you want to share with our viewers.
the message would be that it takes a long time for anything that you love to do to be successful. So be patient and always choose to do something that you're passionate about. I am passionate about eco-friendly products, about helping people choose sustainable lifestyle. Hence, I love to do what I'm doing currently. So yes, Tenga is a business, but it is a business with purpose. So more than the profits, we are passionate about the value we bring in, the new products we are developing, and the quality we promise to our customers. So, choose what you're passionate about and then be patient with it. You'll eventually be successful.
With that, thank you so much, Maria, for joining in and sharing your experience with Pullit Pod. It was great talking to you.
Same here. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you for being with us and watching yet another episode of Pullit Pod. Like I always say, if you want to watch more of sustainable environment related videos, then subscribe to Pullit on YouTube and follow us on other social media channels. Till then, be safe. Signing off, Nasima Khan, Pullit Pod.